terrible. That's the worst thing. So I learned how to really be in the present moment and just shut down my mind.
Wow.
And yeah, I learned that in the hard way somehow, not
Mm.
through books only. In a book, it feels like it's beautiful. Be present, surrender. I always had around 70% chances of never coming back. So when you know that something can kill you and you go there and you do it, and no one is forcing you, no one was forcing me. So I had to learn how to just empty my mind and get in a space of just be here.
Welcome back to Wellness All Seasons. Our guest today is a special man who has mastered the art of human performance in the most extreme environment on earth. Yassine Darkaoui is the founder and CEO of YouMind, a pioneer in neurofunctional, personalized brain entrainment protocols. Yassin was pushing the limits of the physical world. He is a 4-time world record holder at sea. Experiences that taught him how the mind and nervous system behave under ultimate pressure. Today, he merges that battle-tested resilience with advanced technology using neuroscience protocols to help individuals and organizations achieve mental clarity, emotional equilibrium, and peak performance. He is with us today to share how we can all retune our internal system to thrive in every season of life. Welcome, Yassin.
Thank you. Thank you for the beautiful introduction.
You are welcome. You are, it's the truth. If you want to add something, you
Yeah,
can.
but first, I'm happy to be here. Happy I met you, and I would like to thank you for what you do for your community.
You
Thank
are.
you for having me. It's a real pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you for accepting to be with me here because there is a difference in time. You are in Indonesia.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
in
Southeast
Paris.
Asia. I
So
think
we
we have
have,
like six hours difference.
yeah.
It's
So
not
thank
that
you.
much.
Yeah. So thank you so
Yeah,
much
no,
for your time.
my
So
pleasure.
before starting, I want you to introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about the concept, and after we can start our interview.
Yeah, I will start with my background, what I studied. And what I have done. I will resume my life in a couple of minutes, like 50 years in 2 minutes. I think I can do it. I trained a
Yeah,
lot
of
about it.
course.
I can do it very well. So, in terms of background and what I lived, I grew up in Morocco, where I spent around 25 years of my life. And the next 25 were spent between Europe and Southeast Asia. So I moved to Southeast Asia in 2011. And in terms of studies, what I studied was applied mathematics and programming, like engineering. And then I switched to psychology. So I spent a lot of like many years studying about the mind, about the human experience. And you mentioned sailing. Sailing has been a big, very important part of my life. So I was part of the national team for many years when I was a kid, till maybe 18 years old. And that passion led me to establish world records in distance, more precisely in endurance sailing, which is about sailing as far as you can without sleep, without support, without rest.
Wow.
So yeah, I think I resumed it. Yeah, and by the way, you mentioned brain entrainment, which is a project I started around like in 2012, 2013. I was designing and building racing boats, like kind of flying boats. And then I got my sight on neuroscience and sound because I was looking to create something, I would say, more meaningful than building boats. I wanted to help others, go through their life challenges in a very simple and effective way. And that's how I switched from boat building and designing to just going through a lot of scientific reports. And that's how this project started around 13 years ago, something like that.
This is a beautiful shift. Congratulations.
Yeah, I was forced actually. I had a business which I'm in the this sound project was built on pain. I lost a project. I went through a divorce. So when I say I lost it, I was forced to leave my company and I lost everything I built. And in that state of despair, I was feeling lost. I was sad. I got betrayed. And so I said, okay, what can I do? I have basically two options. I can bounce back or stay there complaining for the rest of my life. And that's when I said, you know what? Through all of the challenges I faced in life, if there is something I learned is a lot of pain means also a big opportunity. So here perspective was very important. I said, let's make the most of this intellectual and emotional pain and let's create something out of it. And the very first thing I did was to go through more than 3,000 scientific reports.
Wow.
For 2 years, I just studied all of that. I still don't know how it was humanly possible, but I would say it comes from obsession and also for love, because I was just learning and discovering so many things about the power of sound and the brain. And so that's how all started. So the shift was forced, but as I like to say, I lost, I win. So one day it was a loss, and then it became a.
And this is what I would love to focus on is always when we have a setback, it's an opportunity to move forward and to grow, to achieve, to expand in our lives. So it's a beautiful story.
Yeah, it's, the challenge I would say is that the opportunity is there. The challenge is about opening that door, is finding it. And that's where I would say most of us will struggle and will just get stuck. So then we call it depression, we call it trauma, we call it, I don't want to do it again, I don't want to hear about it. So that's the challenge. How can you use the pain to grow? How to use it as a fuel? And that's possible. And it's in our genetics. I believe that every single person can do that.
Exactly. I truly believe it, and it happens all the time when we have some painful experience. We have nothing to lose. We grow.
We already lost.
So it's beautiful. I love it. So you have spent weeks alone at sea breaking world records where any lapse in mental focus could be life-threatening. What is the biggest lesson the ocean taught you about the internal noise we all face in our modern life, busy lives, and how does your work at YouMind help us silence that noise without having to sail across an ocean?
The learning is massive, and that's why. So the starting point. One day I said to myself, because there is a story I have to tell you about here in just a few seconds.
Share your story. I would love to know your story.
Yeah, I mean it started like for 10 years I had bipolar depression. I didn't know it was even depression. For me, I was feeling bad. I was feeling all the time bad. And to balance that state, I used to take drugs. All of that led me to 6 overdoses. So I'm not supposed to be here talking to you today. It's a miracle that I survived all of that. And the last overdose was, how can I say, a big breakthrough came out of that. So when I was laying in the emergencies, when I woke up, when I opened my eyes and I was in that state of, okay, what's going on here? What's happening? I was bleeding. I was like blue. I was going to die, basically. What will happen is, hey, let's do something very different. If there is something that is guaranteed, is death. For now, okay, we don't have a way to be immortals. So I said, why should I focus on killing myself if that's something I'm going to experience someday? So let's focus in life. And then the big shift happened because I decided, I made a choice.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's why I say that willpower is very powerful. When I say, oh, I cannot change it, I cannot, I'm the proof that we can change it when we really decide. When we decide, we have the image and we believe in it. 6 months after that, I was in Thailand. with my ex-wife. Yeah, she became an ex after 6 years. And so when I left to Thailand after a few months, I said to myself, hey, you know what? I would like to gift myself with some crazy adventure. I started to be creative and thinking about, okay, what can I do? And I decided to get a tiny boat, the same boat I used to race for the Moroccan national team. And I said to myself, okay, you know what? Let's sail as far as possible. So what do I need to do that? And I used that challenge first to apply some concepts I decided to apply for the first time. One of them was to stop giving up. So it's not because it's difficult that we give up. So that was something that I decided to do, to stop giving up in my dreams and my projects. And it doesn't matter how difficult it gets. I said to myself, I'm going to drive this project till the end and learn from it. I started training. I had a coach for 6 months, a former commando guy. It was like in a movie, a guy who spent 27 years in Commandos.
Wow.
Always same face, like neutral. I mean, it looked like he had a mask, you know. And look, he killed me. In those training sessions, what I remember that the very first sessions I used to collapse and throw up. But at the end, it was all good because it helped me do something that very few people could achieve. Physically talking and mentally talking. You know, it was just about staying many days wet, bleeding, hallucinating, facing storms. I broke ribs. I twisted my neck multiple times, multiple dislocations. I mean, all of these challenges were, every single time it was life-threatening. So what I learned is to be in the moment, because when you are in a place where you can literally die, your best friend is to be in here. Death is not happening. I'm still alive if I can talk about it and feel scared or whatever. So I learned how to empty my mind and just to be really present and observe what's happening around me and keep in my mind only the thoughts that were kind of helpful in the context. So that's something I had also to learn, because when you start thinking, oh my God, what can happen next? Oh, look at that storm. Or before even starting, oh my God, the rain is coming. This is the rainy season. I will be there alone. I will be there by myself. Maybe this, maybe that. And that's like terrible. That's the worst thing. So I learned how to really be in the present moment and just shut down my mind.
Wow.
And yeah, I learned that in the hard way somehow, not through books only. In a book, it feels like it's beautiful. Be present, surrender.
But experiencing is
Yeah,
another thing.
I know, especially because I always had around 70% chances of never coming back. So when you know that something can kill you and you go there and you do it, and no one is forcing you, no one was forcing me. So I had to learn how to just empty my mind and get in a space of just be here. And of course, there were a lot of learning about food, about training, about visualization, about sleep. Because if you don't sleep for like around 36 hours, I mean, the ocean, for me, like for 3 days, almost, or 2 days and a half, the ocean used to be pink, the sky used to be green, and you start to see a lot of weird stuff around you, hallucinations, like a shark following you, and you don't know if it's an hallucination or something really happening. This experience were really weird, and I did it 4 times.
Wow.
And of course, I learned also how to heal myself, how to understand my body. Because when you get like an injury, you have to get back as fast as possible, get back on track as fast as possible. So from the ocean, I learned how to fix my body in a pretty fast way.
Wow.
How also to eat properly, because in the sea, I cannot take with me more than 1 kilogram of food. So a lot of thinking went through that. How can I
For how many days?
Like for 3 days non-stop in that tiny thing, which is like a windsurf board.
Wow.
I cannot take more than 3 kilograms of food. And you are spending around 5,000 calories a day.
Wow.
And and how to deal with hallucinations, how to deal with fear. One day I remember I was sailing and the sky it was like bombs being sent. It was like a minefield, thunder all around me.
Wow.
That's again forced me to be in the present moment, thinking that, okay, if I get hit by one, I'm not going to feel it. It will happen fast. So stay here. So the present moment, that was always my best friend when training and when sailing.
It's huge. It's an amazing experience. Wow. So interesting.
Yeah, the fear. I had to deal with fear a lot. And everything I learned there can be applied to life. That's why I love these challenges, because when I come back, I feel stronger. I'm not recommending to people to face death in order to get stronger. Just understand, my recommendation is learn how to make the most of what you have. Like in sailing, you have a little bit of food, you have a little bit of that. The space is very limited, so you have to make the most of it, be grateful for it, and learn how to empty. My advice is learn how to empty your mind from any thought that is not really helpful in that moment. And there is another learning, another teaching, which is I always had, and I always do that. I always focus on what I can control. This is an immense life-changing thing. I always recommend to get a piece of paper and just start writing down what are the things I can control in life and what are the things I have no control above. Because if I focus on the right one, I'm going just to waste my time and feel frustrated. So what can I control in the ocean? I cannot control the weather. I can control my training. I can control my mindset, the food I take with me, the path, the road I will be following to some extent. So that's also a very important teaching from the ocean.
No,
Focus on what I can control.
Wow. I'm speechless because it's a beautiful experience. At the same time, it's not easy. It's a tough experience because you find yourself in the middle of ocean, as you mentioned, with all the fear and all the environment, what can happen, and you still you stayed focused and thinking only about your present moment and to do what you can do without thinking about all the things that you can't control. It's
no. One of the motivations is that every time we go outside of our comfort zone, it's normal to be scared. It's normal to also get hurt, whatever. But that's when real life starts. And advice, for example, to many times I'm talking with my friends and say, hey, why don't you get a bag, your backpack, and just get to a place you know no one, where you know no one, a place that scares you. Go and visit some town, some country, some place you just, how can I say, without planning. You will be outside of your comfort zone, but that's where we really experience life to the fullest. Because I think we were designed in a way that we love to explore. And maybe if we go back in time, thousands of years ago, that's what the nature of the human being, the nature of a man or a woman, or maybe, I don't know, but humans in general, the nature of human beings in general is to explore. But now we have so much comfort that we become bored.
Exact.
You know, so exploring thoughts, exploring concepts, exploring places, disciplines, exploring new ways of living life. That's something I will always recommend, because that's where we start to set ourselves, you know what, life is a weird, beautiful process. Yes, painful as well. Okay, it can be very painful, but that's part of the game. That's why I always keep going to the ocean and doing these things. And by the way, I think by December, I'm going to get into something else, another challenge.
Wow. What I loved in your experience is it's a true wellness because it's physical, mental, emotional, environmental, all at the same time. You have experienced the true self control, self discipline, all these things at this in your experience.
Yeah, they are like a DNA. For example, for food. Food, I learned something about how to generate energy from a little food. And I believe that most of the time people eat just too much, way too much. And again, I don't believe that we were designed to have empty bellies. So if I want to have a lot of energy, I always have to be a little bit hungry. I mean, not getting food till the point I cannot anymore. That's not good. And
No,
what sort of food? Whole food. Everything that is refined is a poison. Fried food is a poison.
exactly.
Refined sugars are a poison. So I learned a lot about fat. I learned how to generate energy from fat. So when I'm in these expeditions, I don't need to eat that much to have enough energy to keep going. So I learned a lot about that, about nutrition. Nutrition in training, when training, is different from the one when I'm sailing.
Yeah.
When I'm training, I can have as much food as I can, variety of different things, you know. But when I'm sailing, I'm limited to 1 kilogram per day and even less. So what can fit in 1 kilogram fat? So I used to have fat for my energy. I used to have a piece of brown sugar or a little bit of honey for the brain, because the brain is not really able, you know, like sugar is good for brain processes,
Yeah, generous.
turmeric for inflammation and for mood, that keeps you even under stress, keeps like a, there is a kind of smile there, and water, and that's it. To the point when every time I come back from these challenges, I cannot have cookies or, you know, the normal food, even the food we give to kids. My body says,
No.
okay, you went through a sort of extreme retreat, and this is not good for you. And I
Wow.
think that if we want to know if something is good for us, we have to push our body to the limit. The body has wisdom,
Exactly.
but we also have the power to shut it down and stop listening. But the body knows what is good for it in terms of food, of movement, and so on. So yeah, it's an extreme
Rest.
environment that requires a lot of different skills and knowledge. So that was about food, and then about training. So for example, now I'm 50, and you know, when I went back to Morocco, a lot of my friends in their 40s looked like really bad. And I was, hey man, why you don't move? I mean, you spend your whole life sleeping or sitting, do something. So movement is important. We are designed to move.
Exactly.
And this philosophy of going to the gym 20 minutes or 30 minutes or 1 hour, maybe 3, 4 times a week, it's not natural.
No.
Nature was designed, like our design is about moving maybe for many hours every day, and moving, doing something of small to medium intensity, like farmers.
Mm.
And you will notice something. People who get to the gym don't necessarily live longer. I
No.
was analyzing this question. We live longer if we have the same lifestyle as, for example, farmers. They wake up at 5 and all day long they are doing something, lifting
Mm.
weight, lifting a box,
They are moving.
going to the field. You know what I mean?
They are
And then
living.
the
Exactly.
mindset is about learning how to visualize, how to set a goal, and how to align your body with your mind. Because if one is not as the other one at the same level, it's not possible to make it happen. If my body is stronger than my mind, I will, you know, I will fail in my mission. And if the mind is stronger than the body, it will not be possible. So it's a lot of different fields combined, and navigation. Because I didn't tell you something. When it gets dark, I see nothing.
Mm.
When I say nothing, imagine going in the ocean and you cannot even see your hand.
Wow.
And multiple times I almost crashed with boats. I broke my ribs. I broke my jaw. I got hit by a big fish in Thailand, my second challenge.
Wow. You
Okay,
are
so,
strong.
you know, no, look, I break my ribs. I mean, it's just, you know, when it happens, the first thing is start questioning, what am I doing here? Why
Mm.
am I doing it? I ask myself that question when I'm in the ocean, but then I just come back, forget about it, and want to do it again. So yeah, guys, if you're watching this, just do something crazy, some sport challenge where
Mm.
you push your limits I mean, you push yourself to the limit, and you will feel alive. You will feel that, okay, life is a beautiful process. There are so many things to experience.
For sure. Most people think of wellness as diet or exercise, but you focus on the nervous system,
Yeah.
sound, and neuroacoustics. Can you
Yes.
explain in a way that feels tangible for our viewers and listeners? Because Wellness All Seasons is available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube.
Dear
How,
listeners and viewers, okay, I will present. Yeah, tell me, please.
yeah, so how a simple 5-minute interaction with your technology can actually rewire a personal emotional state? And why sound is such a powerful back door into our brain's performance.
D'accord. Let's start with something we call the frequency following response, meaning that if a human being is exposed to a stimuli, to a frequency, the brain will start following it. A synchronization happens. So what we do is not sound healing. It's something I would say much more sophisticated. So first we use a special kind of sound. It's called isochronic tones. That's number one. The number two, the brain, when exposed to these frequencies, it will synchronize. Okay. And number three, and just to make it simple, it's oversimplifying. In reality, it's more complex. But to simplify it, every mental state has a frequency. If, for example, now I'm talking, let's say I'm looking to a sunset. I'm happy. Oh, it's beautiful. No telephone, nothing is bothering me. So I'm looking at a sunset, chilling. If I look inside of my brain, I will find that there is a frequency of 10 hertz, which actually is a real example. So if I create a sound based on the frequency of 10 hertz, anyone listening to this sound will have the same experience as mine, which is an experience of deep relaxation. It happens with recovery, with pain management, pain relief, sleep, anxiety relief, stress relief, and so on. So every single mental state can be triggered by the use of the right sound. So, but there is something more here, because in YouMind, we not only create tracks, we create protocols. So if I come, let's say I have a depression. Depression can come from, there are so many things involved in depression that I cannot say that, okay, one frequency will allow you to become a superhuman and all gone. No, we need multiple frequencies. So a protocol is made of many tracks, and it comes with a guideline, and we explain that today you use this one, tomorrow use this track, after tomorrow use this one, and then start using the protocol in the way that makes you feel okay. We call it intuitive approach. When people use the sounds for a few days, they start learning, okay, this track makes me feel good in the morning. That one makes me feel good in the afternoon. That one allows me to sleep. So that's the intuitive approach. And we have protocols for emotional challenges. We have protocols for sport, like recovery, cognitive performance, menopause as well, because we focus a lot on the feminine side of things.
And this is
And
good for Wellness All Seasons listeners and viewers.
yeah, I mean, it works like magic. And you listen to a sound, your brain follows the sound, and you get to the state you wanted to experience. And when using these sounds for a few weeks, your brain develops new patterns. It's like a muscle. So we train our brain to stay in that state. It becomes on demand.
I noticed
And we don't need
this.
to,
Yeah,
pardon?
I cut you, but I noticed this when I experienced it last time you mind.
Yeah, that one. So if you keep using that one, you can create that state without even using the sounds. And it happens usually after 2 weeks of listening to these creations. So this is how it works. It's like hacking your brain. You can train your brain to get to any state you want by the use of the right sounds. And so for 10 years, I was working with human beings and groups of people, like events or designing playlists, protocols. And 2 years ago, I got more partners, business partners coming into the project, and we created something very unique. So this creation is the second patent we got this year, by the way. So we created an AI that can help you. Like if you talk with our AI for 5 minutes, answering 5 questions, audio, not text. our AI will send you a profile of your brain patterns and nervous system patterns. It's super high precise. Usually in the past, when people wanted to get this information, they needed to hire a neuroscientist, a psychiatrist, a psychologist, and get a lot of like blood analysis and so on. So now we can do that in 5 minutes via just a chat. That's our new pattern.
This is a great discovery, because it's interesting to find tools, protocols to help us in our modern life to to support life challenges. So I loved when you talked about how you managed your emotional, physical meals with you when you experienced being in the middle of ocean. For the high achievers who feel on the verge of burnout, what is one neuro hack or shift in perspective they can implement to maintain their clear state of mind? Like you focused on your present moment and on what you can control. So what is the neuro hack that they can use to maintain their clear state of mind, even when they are in the middle of their own personal and professional storm?
I will give, my advice is that people should not wait till they are burned out. So we will talk about the two situations. If people start already to feel exhausted, achievers, managers, people with a lot of responsibility, and even in daily life, some mothers have kids, they have to work. Like I live in Indonesia, I see a lot of these mothers with families to feed. The guy disappeared. These ladies are, for me, high achievers as well, and it's very easy for them to feel like burned out and no one is listening. My advice is before it happens, we should take action. So my philosophy is I will never kill myself for something else. The balance has to be found. I'm not going to kill myself for a company or for someone else. If something hurts me, I'll have to pause. Okay, so that's very important. We have to avoid the situation where we burn out. And then in terms of, let's talk about high achievers. Stress usually comes from bad organization.
Exactly. Yeah.
It doesn't come from a lot of work. Yeah, really. So burnout. My philosophy about burnout is first we have to avoid burnout. I should never get to the point where I'm not okay. So we have to listen to ourselves, and that's something I learned again in the hard way. Because when you burn out, now no one can save you, and the feeling, the experience is, oh my God. So we have to avoid that. And one of the key components, in my opinion, is how we organize our time. So it's really important to have a very precise action plan for every single day. Basically, it's living with intention. Whatever I do is part of a plan, and I know why I'm doing it. And there is something else here is that we should not destroy ourselves for something else, work or others or family. We always have to find that balance. So when we start feeling bad, we have to listen to the body, we have to listen to the soul, to the mind, and say, okay, let's stop. Okay, something is wrong here, because it's not normal to feel bad. So we have always to know when to pause and see what can be done in order to fix that situation. And one of the key components is organization and intention.
I love it, and it's this work for any environment, because people sometimes they have deadlines, they have stress in their work, in their personal life, and they don't know how to manage themselves and their time, their stress environment.
Yeah, so organization is one thing, and then the intention. What's my intention from what I'm doing? People are usually, when we get caught in this race of doing more. I want to achieve this, I want to achieve that. I would say that most of what we want to achieve is not something we need in life.
Mm.
You know, that it's really important to pause and to ask that question, why am I doing it? Some people, you know, the answer I always get is, I do it for my family, I have to feed the family. Okay, so if your family is a source of pain, why did you create a family? And
Mm.
it's also possible to have a family and feed my family without killing myself. So the intention has to be clear. At the end, it's always about taking the time to understand why we are doing something. Do we do it for ourselves? Does it make me happy? Or it's something I'm doing for society, for others who say, oh, that guy succeeded or whatever. So we have to be clear about that intention. And then when we are clear about it, have a proper planning. And planning is really important, because if we have a plan, I will just wake up in the morning and follow the plan. And I follow it like religiously. I follow my plan, and then I will not get lost. We can do it. We can achieve a lot if we have a clear image of what we do on a daily basis. So that's my advice: intention and organization.
Yeah. The challenge now is people are bombarded by all what is going on, and it's especially managing their time with their phone, because they spend time scrolling instead of doing the things that matters most for them. That's why having a plan, being organized, and being intentional can be so helpful for
Yeah,
everyone.
when I talk about planning, if someone has some scrolling addiction, okay, let's have it in the plan. From 11 to 11:30, I will call it waste time. I will keep like scrolling, learning nothing, but I will have it in my plan. But then
Mm.
when the scrolling time ends, I switch to something else. So living with intention can solve this problem in a big part. So that's
And
why.
this is great, because most of the time they said when someone is addicted to something, for example, phone, drugs, anything, they can't control their what they are doing. So I love this to put it in the planning and say now it's time to waste, for example, for scrolling.
Yeah, and
It is
and,
good.
and if there is a time in the day, let's say 3 times a day, I'm addict to my phone, and I scroll with no intention. It's just a quick boost of dopamine,
Mm,
pam, 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 pam. If I have that in my plan, first I become aware about how much time I'm wasting in my life, and
mm,
one day I will ask myself, hey, wow, in 1 month I wasted 40, let's say 47 hours. That's 2 days of life where I
right.
could have done something more positive. So we become aware about that activity, that negative activity. And then we have to name it properly. Because if we put a word on something, it switches like from fully automatic to something that we can play with. Because, we use concepts, we use
Mm,
words, sentences to describe everything around us. So if I can describe any activity, I can play with it. So if I call it wasting time or wasting life moment, it has an impact on me. Oh my God, okay, let's do my wasting life moment. And one day I will feel just disgusted. Okay, how can I? Or maybe let's scroll with intention.
mm,
Today, my scrolling will be about art. So I will scroll to see digital art. We can scroll also with intention. So then that negative thing becomes something that brings value. And in terms of shift, I would say that my advice is start small.
mm,
Especially like for big shifts. When someone says, I want to start a business, but I don't have money. Start small.
mm,
Start by selling something small that you can afford to buy and sell again.
mm.
And when they say, I cannot get to the gym, it's too much. Okay, no worries. Do 5 push-ups a day.
Yeah, it's
Five
very.
push-ups a day. It will take 1 minute and a half. 5 proper push-ups a day.
Mm,
I give you an example, something I always recommend. every single day, start with 1 push-up today, tomorrow do 2 push-ups. If I follow this strategy, like the third day, 3, the fourth day, after 1 month, I will be able to do 30 push-ups. 90% of the planet cannot do more than 10. So you take anyone, any person, it doesn't matter in which shape. 1 today, tomorrow 2, tomorrow 3, they will get in shape after 1 month. And it will take them, the first day, 1 push-up will take them 2 seconds. The second day, 4 seconds. Okay. By the end of the month, in 2 minutes, they can do it. They can do 30 push-ups. So advice here, start small, stop finding excuses. And motivation is not something we sit and wait for. Motivation is building. If I want to get motivated to do something, I have to do that thing. And when my brain sees that, okay, I got something out of it, it will breed a little bit motivation. I do 1 push-up. Okay, I managed to do it. Next day, so you get a little bit of motivation. Next day, I do it. And if there is no motivation, don't think about it. The motivation comes to us when we do things and we show to ourselves that we are achieving something, as small as 1 push-up.
Yeah.
So we should not wait.
Yeah, and I love this, especially regarding workout, etc. Because people sometimes, when they think about workout, they think about gym membership, all these things. But you have just mentioned that baby steps every single day, it can do amazing. And now I really want you to talk about your experience, how you managed your meals during your experience in the middle of the sea. Because now people, when you go to the grocery, you see people, what they are buying, they are consuming processed food, etc., are eating 4 times, 3 times a day, 4 times or more. And you said that sometimes you can stay for less than 1 kilogram of meals a day. So
yeah,
how is it possible for someone who is working, etc.?
So I would say that, well, addiction in general is part of our civilization. And usually the system is done in a way that it gets you addicted to anything you do. We become addicted to work. If we don't work, we feel emptiness. My life doesn't have meaning. Addiction to food. Well, that's a big topic about food. What happened in the 60s in order for us to get here? Because if we talk about food, it's not only, let's say I eat junk food and a lot every day. It's not only my fault. We cannot blame people because they eat a lot. Food is engineered to make people eat a lot. So one of the strategies to change that is to know what to eat. Eat a lot of fiber, eat good proteins. Yeah, and the way we start the day. If I start the day with refined sugars, I start the cycle of, okay, I want more cookies, snacks, soda. If I start my day, I will give you an example. I used to have a lot of sweets many years ago, and I live in Asia, so pineapple is an easy thing to get. Every time I started my day with a big spoon of peanut butter or pineapple, I didn't want to eat more till 1 p.m. No snacking, no like anything that, doesn't bring you any real value. So the way we start the day, the food we use in the morning, people start usually, I don't know if you are in France, they start with croissant, for example, or fake bread, margarine and bread. That's poison.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
there is
confirm.
no,
I confirm.
and it's more expensive than if they start the day with 2 eggs and maybe something else. Like, okay, if someone, I will give you a real advice. I start my days now with a big spoon of peanut butter and tahini. Peanut butter is something that you can even make at home. It's full of protein. It's fat. It gives a lot of energy. I go and surf every day, 3 hours, big waves. So it's a lot of energy spending. Here in Indonesia, I surf every morning. So this is a way for me to avoid having snacks or cookies or whatever. If you do this for a week or 2 weeks, your body will run away from junk food. Baby steps and smart ones can create massive changes. And then the big question is the intention. Why do I want to do this? My intention is very simple. I want to live as long as possible to enjoy life. If my intention is I just want to have a quick fix, it's okay. I can switch to different things. But what happens is that if we follow some healthy things in life, after a certain time, you don't want to go back, because you become happy in the way you feel when you wake up in the morning. We become happy in the way we can manage and think in certain ways. We have more brain power, more. So it's all about small steps for a certain amount of time, and then there is no way back. Like with drugs, I was a heavy drug smoker. I used to smoke. Do you want me to tell you what?
No, you can.
It's okay. For 10 years, I smoked on a daily basis cocaine mixed with heroin. Okay, we call it speedball. 6 overdoses. I used to call it my girlfriend. For me, at the time, there was no way back from that universe. And imagine how much money I spent, how many troubles I got, like social things with family. At the end, I was living in the street. I lived for a long period in the street with no friends, no family, and I was avoiding to see them. Because when I had no money, the very first thing I was going to do is to steal someone's money. So I even avoided to meet people I had respect and love for. So if I went through that, everything is possible. Shifts are possible. Willpower, a clear intention. Okay, I want to experience this in life. And guess what? Both sides, the darkness, the one I smelled and looked at like this, darkness was my friend. I know the smell of it and the feel of it. And the other side, both have same probabilities to happen. And what we forget as humans is we can choose. Okay, I'm choosing this lifestyle. And one day I said to myself after the last overdose, let's try this one. And if I don't like it after a few months, I will stop all drugs now. Okay, I will go through some pain because it's the mind, everything is completely out of place. I want to try a different lifestyle. If I don't like it, I will get back to the other one. And I created momentum.
Wow, this is inspiring. So Yassin, this is only the first interview, but I will have you again and again. And that's why I want to mention that I loved our conversation and I want to invite you for another time. So thank you so much. I will put the link in the description for those who want to connect with you, but I will have you again. So now
we will meet again. Merci.
So thank you so much for your time, for sharing, and it was a really inspiring story to
My pleasure.
Inspire others to take action, decide, take action, and change their life, live with intention, and it was.
Thank you.
So
thank you for having me, and talk
you
soon.
are welcome. You are welcome. You will come back again.
Super. See you soon.